So talking about money, and this one actually isn't directly about money, but this can affect people in the workplace, which probably one of the most important cogs of personal finance, right? The ability to make money.
Okay.
But now this is from a mental health standpoint, and we're talking about the imposter syndrome. So I know for me, and I can suffer from this from time to time, where I exude the characteristics of the Superman, where I think I can do everything, I try to do everything, and I try to be my best at all times, and I'm hard on myself if I don't perform to that level. And sometimes, that could be a symptom of maybe me just being insecure. And I feel like, hey, if one time I don't do a job good enough, maybe I was never worth having a job to begin with.
So, to break down what imposter syndrome is, it simply means that you don't believe that you have all the qualifications, even though you do have all these qualifications, and you don't believe that you belong in the workspace or environment that you're in, although you have all the credentials, although you have all of the work experience. It also means that you think that you're a fraud because you got to this position because of luck. And I see where you're coming from the, the Superman aspect. Maybe sometimes I have this syndrome with the perfectionist aspect. I want to make sure that everything I do is perfect, even if it's in my house. I want to put together everything perfectly. I can't have, if I'm mounting a TV, I can't have any wires hanging. I can't have everything has to be perfect in my life. And that goes from the way it looks, the way that I communicate with people, the way that I portray myself, and all of that. But at the same token, if I have all of the tools to back up that look, that perfectionist look, is that really an imposter? So that's where I kind of struggle with the definition.
Well, then that comes back to, why do you feel the need to be perfect? And I think that's where the imposter syndrome lies. Okay. Because there might be a feeling that if you're not perfect, somebody might see it and might say something, and that might lower you back to what you might be. When in reality, you are this great person that doesn't have to be perfect.
Oh, I see.
So, and I think sometimes, luckily for us, and for me personally, right, because, I'm speaking for myself in this, I was able to persevere even though at times I would have this feeling, but sometimes it just holds people back. Where people are qualified, people are talented, people are brilliant, but they don't want to push themselves to that next level because they feel like they don't deserve to be there, whether it's from the environment they grew up in, their company that they keep. But that's why I always say it's so important. It's something I do that a lot of people don't understand from me is I compliment people a lot. Some people think I'm trolling. Some people think I'm making jokes. I'm actually being serious because I know every day, man, a lot of people aren't going around getting compliments. So if I can compliment somebody on something they're doing very well, I'm going to let them know, because I think that's important, reinforcing, people's confidence. Because otherwise, you're going through and you're doing your thing. Sometimes you don't even know if you're doing good or not.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's interesting that the imposter syndrome is kind of like the opposite effect of what somebody would think it is, because there are people that are actually imposters and frauds. You know what I mean? It's the actual opposite. Like, there are people that portray themselves as something, and they don't have those tools, and they did get to that place. So what would that definition be? And I feel like those people need to understand that they are imposters.
I would just say that just because you see a fraud doesn't make you a fraud, right? So sometimes you'll see people that do what you do, and you're like, man, they're struggling. Mm-hmm. They're an imposter. Maybe I'm one too. And that's just not the best way to go about things. But to speaking to fraudsters, there are people who, fake it till they make it, talk a good game. I've interviewed people and hired them on for positions that are talking this great game during the interview, and they come to the job and the performance just isn't there.
Right.
Well, of course, everybody needs time to learn and grow, but sometimes, man, you can't coming to an interview and saying you have this skill set and going along your resume and talking about how you executed this skill set, and then you get to the job and that skill set is absent. It's to the point where the knowledge gap makes me believe that you're a novice at best.
Yeah, I've been in situations where I've seen people, promote a certain aspect of life. Because if you think about, okay, for instance, the social media aspect of being an imposter. People on Instagram are posing to be things that they aren't every single day. It's like almost like a game. Mm-hmm. And your social media character is playing a game and creating this world where they're better than everybody else. Even though at the end of the day, when you go home, you don't have degrees on the wall, but you're letting everybody know that maybe you're a degree professional. Or maybe your LinkedIn shows that you have a certain skill set that you absolutely don't have. How can we correct that behavior? That's something that I feel like we need to talk about as well.
Well, that's another thing in the sense that with social media is all showmanship, right? People on social media are always trying to sell you something. And what I know from dealing with people in sales, I mean, that's just the game. There's a lot of misleading that goes on with sales, unfortunately, but that's just the nature of it. So it's like this, right? What I could do, right? I have a personal finance podcast. I can get on Instagram. I know a guy. He rents out cars. I can go get a Lamborghini, and I can conveniently post videos with a Lamborghini and pretend that my financial wisdom afforded me that Lamborghini. See, I can afford to rent that Lamborghini for a day, but I can't afford to buy that Lamborghini.
All right.
But hey, I might get some followers from posting in a Lamborghini. I'd make a video. Young Equity Chris races his Tesla versus his Lamborghini. You see what I'm saying?
That's a good idea, man.
Nah, that's cap. That's not a good idea, but that's showmanship, and some people will utilize their resources and their platform to do that, and it works.
Yeah,
I mean, I've seen people, who have been slim their whole life, and they get a sponsorship from a nutritional company to promote a fat burner that they know doesn't even work. And that they were slim before they ever touched the fat burner. But they're going to tell you all day that them taking it every day is making them lose weight. And they're never going to let you know that they actually gained 5 pounds this week.
Gotcha. Exactly.
They're not going to sell you on the fact that the hard work and dedication and genetics is why I'm the weight that I'm at. I mean, There's just a whole lot of showmanship. Because at the end of the day, on that aspect, people don't necessarily want to be sold on the truth. Because if I told people the truth about everything, it's not going to be as desirable.
Right.
I can show people the sum of my success, and they'll be like, that's great, I would love to have that. But if I walk down the journey, a lot of people will probably lack the ability or desire to even go down that road.
So do you think that being an imposter or a fraud is more lucrative than actually being who you are?
On the internet, yeah.
On the internet?
Yes.
Okay.
In real life, no.
In real life, no.
Real life will get you in a lot of trouble.
So people that are in sales, they definitely have to come across as somebody that they aren't, right?
Well, so the thing is right, what type of sales, right? Are you in sales where you sell them, bam, a door-to-door vacuum salesman, you selling that vacuum and run away? Not going to affect you so much.
Gotcha.
But if you're in sales where you're selling your company services that you plan to give them over a long period of time, now you could lie, get them in a contract they can't get out of, but guess what? As soon as that contract's up, they are running away from you. And guess what? They're going to tell all their other friends in the industry not to deal with you. And that's where being a fraud as a salesperson could hurt you. Because the kind of sales that are lucrative these days are the ones that build long-term relationships. The sales where you're just selling one item at a time, they have to pawn that off to people on social media with tummy tea and Herbalife and all of that. But the people that are going to pay 6-figure salaries just to get out there and work with bonuses on top, those are the people that are trying to do sales with those long-term relationships where they're monetizing you constantly, right? Maybe a drug sales rep, maybe a Comcast rep.
Gotcha.
Those people. and there has to be a lot of truth in that. You do oversell. Maybe you do some comparison contrast between themselves and the competitor, and there might be some exaggeration because like AT&T, Comcast, saying it's more or less going to be the same, more or less.
Sure.
So there can be salesmen in that, but you cannot sell something that you don't have, because once you do that and the customer becomes disgruntled, you've lost that customer.
Okay, that makes sense. So, imposter on social media, not in real life. Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
it's going to come back to bite you.
Yeah, I'm not an imposter on social media or any platform myself, but I'd rather not. But yeah, man, just the moral, my story is that, hey, man, if you got the credentials, you must have did something. You can't get as far as you've gotten, done as well as you've done, if you didn't have the ability.
Right, and then also taking that, being comfortable in your own skin, and building confidence, not arrogance, but confidence to go out there and do the job, perform the work. You're there for a reason. You have the credentials. Understand it and own it. That's it.
Cool.